Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Are you looking for the best way to promote your podcast? It's easy. Just advertise your podcast to your ideal target audience. That's right, listeners of similar podcasts. Podbean has the best and most cost-effective options for you. Just go to the website sponsorship.podbean.com/STR. That's right, your friends here at Scout Team Radio are hooking you up. Go to sponsorship.podbean.com/STR and you will get the best deals to get your podcast rolling. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Scout Team Radio.
Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. That's right, you are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning on 12-ounce Sports Radio, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yeah, I guess all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he is a great American. You know him as...
Yeah, it's your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2019. Sorry, I had to check my phone to make sure what the day was. Loudbeard.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening
Oh,
to
okay.
you.
I wasn't sure if the mic was on. I figured if you didn't interrupt with my intro, mimicking my intro, that it's on, but had to double check.
Oh, okay.
Last night, Detroit Pistons, they fought hard. They fought valiantly. They almost fought
But did they,
like,
though?
hold on. They almost fought like an Easter bunny coming out of nowhere, breaking up a fight in downtown Orlando between a man and a woman.
Well, you like to bring that up. I mean, everybody was wondering where Max Scout Team went. Our co-host, Anthony Mack, he hasn't been on the show in quite some time, and I'm like, well, he's been moonlighting, you know? He's got another job that he's been working on. Well, the cat's out of the bag, or should I say the bunny is out of the bag. That's right. Anthony Mack is that bunny.
Where's the rim shot?
Oh.
You got to be ready, man.
I am ready. What are you talking about?
There you go.
Perfect timing. That was right on time.
Now the Kawhi laugh?
Oh, now you're really trying me, aren't you?
That's what she said.
Okay, see? Got them all.
There you go. Got them all.
There you go. Got them all.
Your Honor,
we're
it
ready.
was unbelievable.
Oh, boy. What are you talking about?
Your Honor, it was unbelievable.
Yep.
You understand?
That's
I'm
exactly
going
what
through
I
the whole
thought when I
library
saw.
of... Oh, man. That was a crazy video, though, right?
Yes, and it's only fitting that it took place in our beautiful downtown Orlando. Florida man, or should I say Florida bunny, strikes again, and it was one of us three. And it has to be Anthony Mack, right? He's always looking for a fight.
Well, let's see. Everybody had the opportunity to come on air this morning and let the world know that it wasn't them. So I'm going to say it first. I, Loudbeard, was not the Scout Team member that was in that bunny suit that is going viral right now all through the interweb. That was not me. I swear right now an oath that I was not the bunny, but there was a Scout Teamer that was. So, Chris America, was it you?
Chris America, was not. I was sleeping at that time, and it was not me, and I am also not a male aficionado. Anthony Mack, go ahead, and if you'd like to decline both charges against you of being an Easter bunny and a male aficionado, go ahead. No?
All right, well,
no denial.
That answers it all.
Means admittance.
That he admitted to it right there. It's done. Yeah, I guess people listening to the show recently are like, who are they talking about? That's right. We used to have a third co-host. He disappeared. But now we know exactly what he was doing. And you may hear him on the intro. That's the only way you know that he actually still exists or that he once existed. But he's been the Easter Bunny as of late. And he just walks around downtown Orlando wearing that bunny suit, looking to save the day anytime he sees wrongdoing. And it was caught on video this one time. And the world now knows that Anthony Mack is the super Easter Bunny. He's doing the good work out there. God's work right there.
He is doing the good work. So I'm also doing good work here, Loudbeard.
Oh, yeah? What are you doing? Not to toot your own horn or anything.
All right, here we go. I'm writing poems still.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm glad you are. You know what? I'm getting the bug, though. I think I might jump into this poetry bug.
Oh, you have a poem. You wrote a poem.
I got some inspiration from a gentleman out there, so I'm gonna tell you all about that. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and start us off with Poetry Month.
I mean, because I've been dominating Poetry Month. I can let you go second.
Dominating.
Yeah.
I guess you could use that as a descriptor, but
like Shaq in the paint in the 2001 finals.
Okay.
I'll
give you that. Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. You have so many relationships in this life. Only one or two will last. You go through all the pain and strife, then you turn your back, and they're gone so fast. Oh, yeah. And they're gone so fast. Yeah. Oh, so hold on to the ones who really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. And when you get old and start losing your hair, can you tell me who will still care? Can you tell me who will still care? Oh, care. Bop. Ba-doo ba-dop. Bop-doo bop. Ba-doo ba-dop doo bop. Beep-a-dap-a-dap-doo. Yeah. Bop. Da-doo ba-dop doo dop. Ba-doo ba-dop doo bop. Bop-boo ba-dap-boo bop. Yeah. Said, oh yeah. And in bop, they're gone. Yeah. Thank you.
Another just beautiful rendition
Yes.
of poetry.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was a beautiful poem. Well, Chris Ameri, I don't know if I can top that. I feel like I can't even try poetry now. You just stomped me already.
You came in hot, and now you're down. Don't doubt yourself, Loudbeard. You got this.
Nervous.
I believe in you. You have this, buddy.
All right. So there was a great poet that lived, and he's still living. He's right now, he's moved to Cleveland, and that would be my good friend Odell Beckham. And I asked Odell, I said, Odell, can you give me some inspiration? Because Chris America is coming in hot each and every morning at 6 a.m., Monday through Friday, on Poetry Month with some beautiful poetry. And I said, give me a little bit of poetry, and I need that from you. And so Odell Beckham said he's going to get on the famous poetry platform known as Twitter and give me some good information and help inspire me to be a great poet. So I'm going to take some of his workings because I think they're great, and I'm going to go ahead and share them with you, Chris America, because it's Poetry Month. And Odell Beckham, he's one of the beautiful poets that I've ever met, one of the most, absolutely. And so Odell Beckham, he's a sensitive guy, and most poets are sensitive. That happens, right? And his former GM comes out and says that the New York Giants no longer have a culture problem. They've gotten rid of it. Oh, but Odell Beckham, he's a very sensitive guy. He didn't like that comment. He's saying, okay, so he comes out and he's like, let me come out with some good poetry. So I'm going to read some of Odell's poetry for you, Chris America. Got to get my...
Let's hear it.
My best poet voice together. All right. Yes.
Wait.
I'm waiting.
You need the bongos.
Okay, please. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
that's a great idea.
I think it's awesome that you and Odell are such good friends, too.
We are. We hang out. We bleach our hair together. We do that.
Oh, yeah.
We got the same stylist. Except I have no hair, and my hair's not bleached. So, yeah, that could be why we're not exactly... Oh, I'm feeling it.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Cancer to a place that's okay with losing. Ask any one of my teammates of who I was as a teammate and a man and a person. Yes, I'm Cancer to a place that's okay with losing because I want to win that bad. You're absolutely correct. Ask the coach. I begged him to go to each and every one of those games. Actually, for my teammates. And to be on the sideline for the home games. He told me no. Anything else, sir? That's to whoever tweeted asking why I didn't travel while I was hurt. Next. We didn't sign him to trade him. You don't get married to get a divorce. I tried my best. The situation I had been in since I got there never changed. We were still losing. Period. Money doesn't bring happiness. Brother, remember that. What you don't understand, I've never been in a place so happy in my life. My soul, my spirit is at an all-time high. Say what you want. There is no bringing me down. Period. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Ladbeard, that was beautiful. You know, I understand that Odell is he's very shy behind the camera, like he can write it down. So it was good that he used you as his microphone. You as his
his muse. I was his muse.
You were his muse. You did it beautifully, and I couldn't have said it better myself. And you know what? I agree with him on all levels. I think it's crazy that he has such a bad rep, and some of that's the New York media. Some of that's just we want people to fit in a box, and when they don't fit in that box, we don't like them. And Russell Westbrook, he's been getting a lot of shade the last few days, and I think it's been unfair. To me, if you're an athlete who shows up every day, competes their hardest, doesn't get arrested, doesn't beat their wives, doesn't, have all this craziness going on in their life, then you're okay with me. All the other stuff is just kind of like, maybe I won't like it, maybe I will, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. If you want to propose to a field goal net, have at it, man. But as long as you go out and you perform on the field and you don't do crimes or drugs or anything like that, then what do I care, man? We sometimes we pick and choose who we want to be competitive and boisterous and who we don't want to, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely do. Now, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What kind of world are we living in where Cleveland has become the happy place for somebody? This is a strange world.
I mean, it's getting there, man. It's a whole new world. A brand new place we'll never see.
It's a brave new world, Chris America,
brave new
where
world.
Cleveland has become a heaven, an oasis. It's become paradise. So Cleveland, congratulations.
They got a lot of good things going on there, man. There's a lot to be excited about. I wouldn't know what to do if I was a Cleveland Browns fan, because part of me would be super excited, but another part of me would say, okay, don't get your hopes up.
Oh, yeah, you have to be cautiously optimistic being a Cleveland Browns fan because you've been hurt before. It's,
yes.
When you've had
hurt before is a massive understatement.
When you've had 17 bad relationships in a row,
yes.
You have really bad breakups at each one of them, and then you get into a new relationship and you're like, this seems perfect. There's no way this could end badly. There's just no way, but you've had 17 bad breakups.
You're like, this seems too perfect. Do I deserve this?
Yeah.
Yes,
tough.
you do, Cleveland fans. You do.
You've
been through a
Cleveland.
lot. I'm supporting you, Cleveland. Cleveland rocks.
Now, Chris America, there's a city out there that is a little depressing, and you mentioned them at the offset here.
Yes.
Detroit. Yep.
Yep.
Got to bring Detroit up. So you mentioned that the Bucks sweep the Pistons. Now, the Pistons set an NBA record for the longest losing streak in the postseason. So this isn't the type of record that you want if you're a Detroit fan.
Is it at 8 or more?
No, more than 8. So that's
Okay, because I know they
more
got swept by the Cavs the last time they were in the playoffs, which I believe was 2 years ago.
So this, I don't have all the details. I believe it started back in 2008.
No.
Yes.
They've been swept that many times?
So, well,
I mean, I know they haven't been going to the playoffs that many times, but dang.
They were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost like the last 2 games of that series.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then they've got swept by the Cavaliers twice, and now by the Bucks. So they're actually at 14 games losing streak in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
3 sweeps, and then the last 2 games of that series. So, yeah, that hurts.
It does.
That hurts.
And then a whole bunch of losing seasons scattered through there, missing the playoffs, never getting a high draft pick. They're in that abyss that I talked about before, where you're like pick 12 through 20, where you're sometimes making the playoffs, you're sometimes missing the playoffs, you're not getting any good draft picks. Players aren't really coming to sign with you. I mean, they got Andre Drummond, right? I don't remember where they picked him up, but so they have him, but they haven't been able to build around him really. And they brought in Stan Van Gundy, and he did all he could, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, they brought in Blake Griffin.
That is true. They did bring in Blake, and unfortunately he was out. Was he out the whole entire series? I really stopped paying attention to that series.
Yeah, it was already over by the time he came in. He came in game 3. I mean, he came in and he performed pretty well, but at that point, it's too late. Bucks are too good.
Yeah, and like I said, they fought last night. They had a lead for a good portion of the game, and then I kind of tuned out and checked the score this morning, and they got blown out at the end of the game.
Hey, on a bright note, to talk about a city that needed some good news, Milwaukee, they actually make it to the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2001. So that's pretty good.
That's really good. Milwaukee, man, they're getting a lot to celebrate lately. I mean, the Brewers were in the playoffs last year. They did pretty well. I believe they're leading their division right now. And now the Bucks, up and coming on up. They got the Celtics, right? Now we can officially look forward to that matchup.
Yeah, we can. I want to see the Bucks take it to Kyrie Irving. I mean, to the Celtics. That's what I meant.
Yeah, and Giannis coming in hot with 41 points, 9 rebounds. He's going into that series red hot, and it should be interesting. A lot of people are saying this is going to be Kyrie versus Giannis, but I don't know how many times they're ever going to really be on each other. Like, Giannis will be there when Kyrie decides to drive the lane, but I don't think there's going to be many times where Kyrie's going to be on Giannis. I'm pretty sure that's going to be like Al Horford's job or something.
Yeah, no, they're not. I think Giannis has got a little bit of height on him. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. The matchup is more of, hey, superstar versus superstar. We can bill it this way. But when you look at it, it's going to be a good matchup all around because both teams have pretty good depth. And, hey, when the Bucks beat the Celtics, I can say I told you so to you.
You can say that. You can say that. And you might be able to say that because the Bucks are a really good team. By the way, Loudbeard, I don't know if you know this, but you can hit us up on Twitter. You can follow us like at BrianD77271153 did. Yep, that's his real name. I didn't make that up. I'm going to follow you back there, Bri Dog. And you can also hit us up. You could be a Twitter co-host on the show. Whether we're live or not live, we'll read your tweets. And Scott Kaiser, one of our fan favorites, chiming in here. Nobody feels bad about the Pistons' recent playoff performances. They bored us all to death with those defensive first championship teams. Only thing they did well was make sure the mailman and the glove didn't get a cheap ring at Scout Team Radio. So thank you, Scott Kaiser, for your input. And now Loudbeard's going to say if he agrees with that or not.
I disagree with that. Not that I agree with the whole boring you to death thing, but come on, man. The mailman and the glove, those were good guys. They deserved a cheap ring. I wanted those guys to get a cheap ring. Like, I felt bad. You know, Michael Jordan basically owned them in the 90s, and Yeah, they needed that cheap ring in the early 2000s when they were ailing and had trouble staying on the court and were old. And come on, man. Come on. Don't you like these old men? I'm old.
The only thing I hated about it is that they would have gotten it through the Lakers. That was the only reason why I was like, oh, really, guys? I mean, I get it. You're going to Kobe and Shaq show, and it makes sense. But, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Now that you bring up the Lakers, I don't like the Lakers.
Like every time I picture Karl Malone in a Laker uniform, I shudder and I give a little verp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can actually feel that. I can feel that a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, not on the Lakers.
Picturing him in a Jazz uniform, and the Jazz played like the Mailman and Stockton were back in Jazz uniforms, and they showed out in Game 4 to not get swept.
That they did, man. Donovan Mitchell. I cannot say enough good things about him. Should have been Rookie of the Year last year. Still throwing that out there. Not giving up on that fight. But Mitchell, he scores 31, leads his team, but 19 of those points in the fourth quarter. Talk about clutch. A guy that shows up when he needs to show up, saves his team from that elimination, saves the sweep, and shows up when he needs to. A couple other guys on this team that really showed up when they needed to. Ricky Rubio, 18 points, 11 assists. Jay Crowder, 23 points. Great performances all around. The Jazz, they give a performance that they needed to do just to kind of make it a respectable series. To me, you got to win at least one game. The full sweep is embarrassing, and the Jazz avoided that. So no way I think they win this series, but at least they're going home with one win and something to hang their hat on.
Oh, Chris Paul and James Harden better pray they don't win this series, because that would be the Warriors will be like, oh, thank God we don't have to deal with this 1-3 thing, because you went up 3-0 and lost in the first round to the Jazz. Like, yeah, that's not gonna fly. And James Harden and Chris Paul, they played really well last night. They're gonna need a lot of help from their bench and some of their other players, man, because I'm looking at this stat line and there's a lot of zeros on that bench. Austin Rivers, 5 points. I think those are the only bench points that the Rockets scored. Let me scroll down a second. Yep, only bench points. The entire bench had 0 points last night. You're not going to win many basketball games in the playoffs if your bench cannot contribute.
Did they have Eric Gordon starting? Is that what you're saying? So, because I know Eric Gordon had some points. He actually had a pretty decent game. Usually he's like that sixth man.
I don't know how Yahoo or Google does their stat line, but usually they put the starting 5 at the top and then everybody else at the bottom. Like, they list their position and stuff. So it had Eric Gordon, P.J. Tucker, Clint Capella, James Harden, and Chris Paul listed. They all played, let's put it this way, all of those guys played over 28 minutes. Daniel House played 28 minutes, 0 points.
Ooh,
Austin Rivers.
That's that guy you need some points from, just a guy off the bench. Yeah, I see you.
Austin Rivers, 20 minutes, 5 points. The rest of the guys, like Gerald Green, had 9. Kenneth Faried got 5, but that could have been because they weren't contributing, so they had to keep their starters in. Harden played for 38, and Paul played for 35, and Eric Gordon played for 38 with P.J. Tucker as well. And P.J. Tucker and Eric Gordon had good games, 16, 13 each. That's good, but you need some bench points, man.
Yeah, I can see that. The Rockets aren't very deep. They're more top-heavy this season, I think, more than last season. But it was a game where you're up 3-0. These guys probably just phoned this one in a little bit. So they need to come back and
you don't want your bench guys phoning it in. If Harden and Paul were to phone it in, I'd be like, okay, I get it. They're working hard all the time. They're like, let's take a break. Let's ease up on the gas. But if you're a bench guy, you need to be playing hard all the time. You got contracts to worry about. You're not getting a max deal automatically. You don't even know if you're going to re-sign with this team. And if you don't, you want to do something to where other teams take notice and want to sign you somewhere else.
Yeah, it's long playoffs, Chris America. Even if you are on the bench, sometimes you get a little stiff when James Harden's playing 38 minutes. We'll agree to disagree.
So, Scott Kaiser hitting at us again. You get no sympathy when you join the Lakers.
I'd have to agree with that. I do have to agree with that. I still like the mailman and the gloves so much. I wish they would have got those rings, but they go down in history. as being the guys that were that good that never won a championship. And you're right. If it's because they were on the Lakers, I'm good with them not winning it.
Yeah. So James Harden gets 30 points and they lose. He goes 3 for 20 and they win. Does James Harden need to go 3 for 20 again to finish up the gentleman's sweep?
That's horse hockey.
I think they do bounce back. It's in Houston next game. I think they bounce back and finish off the gentleman's sweep.
In Houston. All right. Well, Chris America, I got another basketball story. This is hot news right here. I don't know if you had a chance to see this, but our good friend of the show, Luke Walton, who we talked terribly about for a long time, he has a lawsuit filed against him on Monday by Kelly Tennant. She was a Los Angeles Dodgers reporter for Spectrum Sportsnet, and she's alleging that Walton forced himself onto her in a Santa Monica hotel. This all happened while he was the assistant for the Golden State Warriors, so it was between 2014 and 2016 that the actual incident occurred. Though Walton's attorney has come out and, according to Sam Amick of The Athletic, has said the accuser is an opportunist, not a victim, and her claim is not credible. We intend to prove this in the courtroom. All right, with all that being said, is this a bad look for Luke Walton, who is now the new Kings coach?
I mean, the obvious answer is yes, right?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
It's never a good look if somebody comes out and accuses you of sexual assault or anything improper with a woman. I was waiting for the lawyer to say we categorically deny these claims. I always like that power word, categorically deny. But I agree with the attorney. I always try to say especially if I have no video evidence. If I have video evidence, then I'm able to look at the incident and decide for myself. But when I don't have video evidence, then I say, okay, I'm going to let those who are paid lots of money or even a little bit of money if you're a cop to investigate this, and then hopefully I'll put my trust in the system, although I know the system is very flawed and very broken, but it's all that I have, and see how it plays out. So is it a bad look? Yeah, it's a terrible look. I wouldn't know what I would do if this ever happened to me. It would be my worst nightmare because I know for me I would never do it, and I would know in my mind that I didn't do it. But now it's like, does everybody else believe you? And that's hard. It's hard, man.
Yeah, that's a tough place to be in, especially when you're in the spotlight. A guy like Luke Walton, he was in L.A., he was at Golden State, now he's the coach of the Kings. He's just one of those names that's big in basketball. This could go for any player, any coach. Anytime something like this happens, that's tough because it's a lot of times it's a he said, she said, and there's always two sides to the story, and there's the true victims that in situations where they are the victim and then they get looked at like, oh, we don't believe you, you're just an opportunist out for money. Yeah. And then there's the fake victim who is the opportunist. So then you don't know, like, is this a true victim? And if it is, this needs to be serious and it needs to be investigated and we need to get to the bottom of it. Or if it's an opportunist, to me, that's 10 times worse, where somebody's using your celebrity to try to take advantage. So either way, this is tough. I mean, I feel like we're on an episode of Law & Order SVU right now. So
yes.
I'm trying to think, who did it? What are the details? We need to canvass the streets right now from all of L.A. We need to canvass all of Golden State. We need to canvass all of Sacramento. We're canvassing the entire city. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need the Scout Team Bureau of Investigation on this immediately.
Loudbeard, in my previous lifetime, when I was about 22, 23, I worked for I worked as a security guard.
35 years ago?
Yeah. I worked as a security guard at a college program where college students who work for Disney from around the world and around the country, they live in this apartment complex, and then they go work for Disney, and like it's kind of like a working internship type deal. So I worked security at this apartment complex, and we dealt with this a lot where girls would come up to the security booth and file a report, and it's really hard because it's like, oh, I was at a party, and this happened, and I was glad I didn't have to solve the case that I didn't have to make a decision, that we would call the sheriff's office out and they would come out and take an actual police report. Obviously, we would have to take a report just to report the incident that had occurred. But I was always glad that it wasn't up to me to decide who's the victim and who's the bad guy in this instance. Is it the accuser or the accusee? And it's just I don't envy the SVU people, those that had to investigate these crimes and try to weed through the gray and find out what really happened.
Yeah, I don't think that I could be that guy. That's a tough place to be, because in the end, you really will never know for sure who was right and who was wrong. You follow the evidence, you make an educated decision, you let the court system handle it, but do you really know the truth in the very end?
If you swing wrong, you've wrecked one half of that other person's life. So if you swing wrong on the accusee and they didn't do it, man, you're sending somebody to jail or ruining their reputation over something they didn't do. And if you swing wrong on the victim and they really were, then you're leaving them with a lifetime of doubt and distrust and like, how did nobody come and help me? So it sucks, man, either way. But Loudbeard, on the other side of the break, we're going to pick things up. I felt like we got a little too serious with that. And I just invented a game looking at the games tonight. And it's going to be called the Gentleman's Sweep. And I'm going to give you the list of games. You're going to put on your monocle and put on like a little tuxedo and give me your best gentleman impression. And we're going to play a game called Sweep It or Keep It with the 3 games that are up.
Sorry, I thought you were just leaving it at that. It was
Sweep it or keep it.
perfect timing. You kept talking.
I know, that was my fault. Go ahead.
We'll be back. Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. Ah, 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Well, thank you all for listening in. We are back. That's right. We are Scout Team Radio, bringing it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. on 12-ounce sports radio. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We also record each episode, drop it as a podcast. We have a partner podcast network. You can check them out at barnburner.ca. We are on the Barn Burner Podcast Network. We also drop our own podcast anywhere you can find a podcast. You can search Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You can find it on our website, scoutteamradio.com. You can find it anywhere and everywhere. That's right, we record each and every show, so you can go back and listen to any of our old shows. We love it. We absolutely love it. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter. We like to get social. We like to interact with all of you listeners out there, so make sure you hit us up. This morning, we got some hot tweets coming in from Scott Kaiser. He's hitting us up on Twitter. He knows how to hit us up on @ScoutTeamRadio right there on the Twitter machine. We appreciate that. And we appreciate all of our listeners who want to interact with us. Even if you're listening to the podcast, you can hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to get that interaction. And Chris America, just on a side note, I do want to say that Scott Kaiser, he's part of that Craft Brewed Sports team. And I was telling you this Friday night at the bar when we were watching our Orlando Magic barely lose to the Raptors that I listened to their show. I didn't catch it live, but I hit their podcast up at Craft Brewed Sports. And they had one of the best interviews I have ever heard on Thursday. Brandi Lannister is the screen name. Her real name is Brandi Johnson, but she was out there and she had this Tinder profile where she was trolling on an athlete, a baseball player, and that went viral. So they brought her onto the show, man. She was hilarious, and that was probably one of the best podcast interviews I've ever heard. I was actually a little jealous. I'm like, damn, I wish we would have got her. She was that good. Those guys were lucky, but if you want to hear that amazing interview, make sure you hit those guys up. They're awesome. So, Chris America, sweep it or keep it? That's what I have to ask you.
Do you have your monocle on?
Hold on. Okay, yes, it is on now.
You have your cup of tea? Your pinky is up? Everything's
actually,
good to go?
it is. Yeah, I have my cup of tea.
Yes, this is the gentleman's sweep it or keep it. We'll start off with our Orlando Magic. They're down 1-3. It's in Toronto. We're coming off of a blowout loss. Loudbeard, is this going to be a gentleman's sweep it? Or are we going to keep it? Are we going to keep this series going and bring it back to Orlando where the Easter Bunny is ready to kick butt and take names?
Well, this hurts me. This hurts me deep down in my soul. My monocle's getting a little steamed up right now because I'm tearing up and I'm crying. But I'm going to have to say that the Orlando Magic are going to get the gentleman's sweep. I'm sweeping it, Chris America. And it hurts me to say that, but I'm sweeping it.
It hurts to say it. I want another playoff game here in Orlando so bad, even though I know it'll probably end up in another Orlando loss. But I think Toronto's just going to come out hot. The crowd's going to be into it. They're ready for the second round. They're ready to take on whoever they have next between the Sixers and the Nets. And, well, I guess if the Nets win, then the Raptors will end up playing the Celtics, right?
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I'm trying not to look too far ahead.
All right, well,
I live my life one day at a time, Chris America.
One day at a time, you're right.
I'm like that, what was that, 60 Seconds? Gone in 60 Seconds, wasn't that what that's from? Or Fast and the Furious? One of those car movies. I live my life one day at a time.
Yes. So let's move on to that game then. Nets versus 76ers. Is this going to be a gentleman's sweep it? Or are we going to keep it? We're going to bring it back to Brooklyn.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm looking forward to this one because I'm hoping there's going to be some fights. Jared Dudley should be creating a lot of problems because he's an irritator. But you know what? I'm going to go keep it. I'm going to say the Nets are going to squeeze off one more out of this one. They're not going to win the series, but I say that we're going Nets, keeping it.
Oh, I like it. You know what? I was kind of on the fence, so since you said keep it, I'm going to say sweep it. I think the 76ers are just too good. The Nets have thrown anything and everything they can at them, and they still didn't get the win. And I think the 76ers, same with the Raptors, the crowd is just going to be behind them, and the Nets just don't have the firepower to keep up with the star power that the 76ers have.
All right.
So I'm going gentleman's sweep. All right, next game up is Billy Donovan, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and the Thunder going up against the Portland Trail Blazers, the surprise team of this playoffs, I think, with a 3-1 lead. I don't think anybody's surprised that they'll win this series, but to see a gentleman's sweep on the table for them, I think that's got to be a surprise to everybody. And detrimental to Billy Donovan's career in Oklahoma City. So are you going, gentlemen, sweep it? Or are we keeping this and coming back to Oklahoma City?
I got to say keep it, and that's just because of the fire in the eyes of Russell Westbrook. This is a competitive guy that is going to do everything he can to keep this alive. Paul George, same way. These are two fierce competitors, and I'm going to say keep it because I think those guys are going to fight for it, but this is still the Trailblazers series to win, and you're right. They may be the surprise team, but they are still sitting there at the 3 seed. That is a really, really good Trailblazers team. So, I mean, it could go either way, but I'm sticking with my gut and going with keep it.
Yeah, I think with everything on the line for the Thunder, they have to win this game. I don't know if they'll be able to pull out winning this series, but they cannot get gentlemen swept out of the first round. It just would be a bad look for everybody. And so I say they keep it. But if they don't, Billy Donovan will most likely be fired. And I have to ask you this, Loudbeard. Will Billy Donovan get another chance in the NBA like Luke Walton did? Or is he just going to be viewed as like, oh, you're just you had the best team you're going to have. You had the best roster you can ever have, and you didn't do anything with it, so we don't trust you?
That's a good question, and that's a good subject because I've got a lot to talk about on that, but I don't want to derail your game show. So did you have any others? That's the end of it?
Unless you want to talk about the Spurs Nuggets, that's not a gentleman's sweep on the table. We've already kept that. This is going to 6 games at least. So,
well, I didn't understand the Luke Walton getting a job so quickly thing anyway. I will say Billy Donovan, he could get an opportunity similar to what Scott Brooks did. Scott Brooks basically had the same career at Oklahoma City that Billy Donovan has had, where they've gotten close. Now, Scott Brooks took them to a finals, which is a lot better than what Billy Donovan did. But it was
he
always
also had KD and James Harden on that team.
Right, but it was always felt like it was an underperforming team, right? Like with the talent that they had, they never quite got as far as they should have, and that's what Billy Donovan has done. So Scott Brooks picked up a job pretty quickly, and there are a lot of coaching vacancies that seem like they're creeping up, and I do think that Billy Donovan gets another opportunity. The NBA is really good at doing this whole retread thing where the coaches just move from city to city, and eventually on their 3rd or 4th stint, teams realize how bad they are as coaches, and that's when they don't get a job again. But when you go one team and a Billy Donovan national champion winning college coach has had some success in the NBA, I think he gets another job. Now, I'm going to segue that for just a second, Chris America. The Suns fired their coach after 1 season, and they've had 6 coaches since 2009. So this is kind of indicative of what the NBA is they churn out coaches because it's a superstar-driven league. The coaches almost de-emphasize unless you have a Greg Popovich or somebody that's highly regarded in that manner. The rest of these coaches seem like it's a revolving door. These teams will give up on coaches very quickly. And a guy like Dave Yeager, who was over there with the Sacramento Kings, he takes the Kings to their best record in like 10 years. And he gets fired. I just don't think the NBA is very loyal. And I wonder, why does a guy like Luke Walton get a job so quickly when he really fared so poorly with LA this season? Really disappointing. And a guy like Dave Yeager, who I think exceeded expectations with a young roster and really developed these guys, hasn't gotten a look yet. I don't understand the NBA coaching thing is really what I'm trying to say, Chris Mayer. The whole thing confuses the heck out of me. So I'm going to say, Billy Donovan, he's going to land somewhere else. Who knows? What's Russian roulette there for coaches?
It almost seems like if you would much rather coach a bad team, have a losing record, and get fired, and then you have a better chance of getting a job than if you have a good team and have a winning record and take them to the playoffs, but you don't live up to whatever expectations people built up for you, and then you get fired. Because I don't feel like, again, I think it's people don't trust it. Like, look, where's David Blatt at these days?
Oh, yeah. Where's David Blatt?
Nobody picked up David Blatt. Nobody's picking up Tyronn Lue unless it's LeBron James again. And Tyronn Lue's a guy with an NBA championship, and nobody's picking him up because they see what it really is about. And I think for Billy Donovan, I think it's going to be, if he would have taken the Suns job and did okay and developed some young players and went 25 and whatever, 25 wins, 26 wins every year, I think he probably would have another job. But since he took this Oklahoma City Thunder team, and he made one Eastern Conference Finals. They lost. They gave up a 3-2 lead. Didn't they have a 3-2 lead in that series? And they dropped 2 games in a row to lose that finals. And then he's got he follows it up with 2 first-round outs after KD leaves. So I don't think there's any excuses for him this year, though. You had Paul George, you had Russell Westbrook, and you have a fairly decent supporting cast, and you come in as the 6th seed and possibly get a gentleman's sweep out the door.
Yeah. It's time to move on from him, and we'll see where Oklahoma City goes. But in the series, it's not over yet. So anything can happen. When you're down 3-1, we know the whole Golden State story. Joel Embiid reminded us the other day when he was at his press conference with the Sixers being up 3-1. He said, I hope we just don't pull a Golden State on them. And, it's kind of a savage thing to say, but it's true. We, at some points, we say at 3-1 that these teams are done, but statistically, there's like a 5% chance that this team could win.
Yeah. They got
better
Russell
than winning the
Westbrook.
lotto.
They got Russell Westbrook and Paul George. So these guys can turn it on, and they're good enough to take over and pull out 3 wins. It's just going to be very, very hard, and there's no room for error anymore for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But we'll see how this turns out. We'll see what happens to Billy Donovan. We'll see what happens to the Oklahoma City Thunder and Russell Westbrook, too. I believe his contract up this year or next year? I thought it was like a 2-year deal that he signed. And this is
I'd
year
have to
2.
look at the contract. I thought he was a little bit longer. I thought it
maybe it's a little bit longer
deal.
because nobody's really talking about where he's going. So maybe it's next year. But it should be interesting to see what Oklahoma City does because they're a really good team, and you got to feel for that fan base. That's they're hungry for it. It's right there. Them in Houston have just been right there for the last 3 or 4 years. Oklahoma City a lot longer, obviously.
Yep. All right, Chris and Merrick, I'm gonna pivot on you. I'm gonna go over to some baseball. Got to bring up a baseball story.
Oh, you don't want to talk Nuggets Spurs first?
No.
You
want to put me to sleep, don't you? All right, let's talk Nuggets Spurs. Go ahead.
I mean, who you got today? I think I'm going Spurs tonight. I think Spurs are going to sneak out this series. I really do.
Yeah, we've got to have one upset. That would be the one upset of the playoffs because first round, every other series has just been chalk, man. I want to see some sort of underdog win, and San Antonio's our greatest hope. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm going San Antonio.
San Antonio. All right, what do you got for baseball?
Bryce Harper, the man with the beautiful swooshy hair.
Yeah.
He gets a little upset. There was a third call strike on him last night. He gets animated. He's yelling and throwing his hands up, and his hair's flopping around all over the place. And he gets thrown out of the game after this ridiculous tirade. Just, very typical in baseball. And afterwards, pitcher Jake Arrieta, former Cy Young winner, very well-respected man out there in Major League Baseball, he comes out and says, you know what? He's got to understand we need him in right field, and throws a little shade on Bryce Harper. So you think this is the right thing for your teammate to do is come out for the man that just got paid $1 trillion to play for the Philadelphia Phillies and say, hey, dude, don't get thrown out of games. We need you out there, and give a little bit of pushback to his big-time teammate, Bryce Harper. What are your thoughts on this, Chris America? And I think I lost him. Well, I think, personally, that this was the right thing for Jake Arrieta to do, man. Hey, he's saying to Bryce Harper, you got to grow up. You got to grow up, and you got to do the right thing here, man. You have to go out there and do what's best for your team. And if you get ejected, you're not helping your team. You're hurting your team. Well, Chris America, I hear you back. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I lost connection somehow. So
it happens.
Go all the way out and come all the way back in. But
I hate that.
So I believe you said before you cut out that Bryce Harper's Jeremy beard got to his head and he got angry at a third strike, and then I didn't hear anything after that.
Okay. I'm glad you brought this up because this has nothing to do with Bryce Harper and Jeremy Beards. Jeremy Beards. So this whole investigation about how dogs have cleaner fur than men's beards, this was a fake story, and I told you that the other day. But I thought about this. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. This is weighing very heavy on me, Chris America, and you had to bring it up again. Sore subject, but thank you. Thank you for doing this
Yes,
because
you're welcome.
When you think about it, the beard is right there. You know, it's near your mouth, so it's where you eat, and so some food might get on your beard. So, yeah, I can understand where there's some germs. But did they go to a dog and test fur right next to its mouth?
Like the dog's beard? Because my dog has a beard.
Yes. Did they test the dog beard, or did they test a little piece of hair on the
like
dog's
the back of their
back?
neck. Yeah.
Like on its neck. Because if it depends where you tested the hair. And did you do it right after somebody ate? Like, we're going to bring you in for a test. There's a full buffet in the green room before you come in and you perform where we test your beard. Why don't you go ahead and eat salami and go ahead and eat that bacon and get some bacon grease on you? Yep, there's plenty of food there. Go ahead and eat. And then they bring in the sloppy guy with food all over his beard, and then they test his beard, and that's where they're getting the germs from. I'm just saying this whole thing is rigged, and I don't think it's right. And it's not like you test the top of the head where you're not eating from. You test the right around the mouth with the beard. The whole thing's a scam. I'm just don't bring it up again because I'm gonna get upset.
Yeah, I gotta add Jeremy Beards to the list of things that will get Loudbeard to derail completely and take over the show. Right next to the Washington Redskins. Because I notice when I do the Redskins, you do that too. You just go off on a tangent, and it's great. It's awesome.
Oh, it's my team. So Washington Redskins, Tyra Banks, Jeremy Beards, Justin Bieber, all four of those things. You bring them up, and on a side note, that's what I say when I derail myself.
Yeah.
On a side note, Justin Bieber got pulled out by Ariana Grande at Coachella. Oh, now Ariana Grande's on my list for bringing out Justin Bieber. Like, fans don't want that prick out there. Come on, that's ridiculous. What is wrong with her? Why is okay? This whole thing's falling apart, Christopher. I need you to take over. I need to compose myself.
So I don't want you to have to repeat what you've already told the audience because I got kicked out. So what I'm going to do is later on today at 11 a.m. I'm going to tune into 12ouncesportsradio.com and I'm going to listen to the replay, and then I'll hear what Bryce Harper did, and maybe or maybe not I'll have a reaction for it. I don't know. I always forget. I always think of things that I want to talk about, and I don't write them down, and then I forget to bring them up. So,
all right. Hey,
I'll listen at 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Yes.
Oh, I was going to say we only have a few minutes left, and I haven't even had a chance to do my everyday segment.
What's your everyday segment?
Hockey talk.
Oh, yeah, hockey talk.
All right. Nashville
is
out.
Smashville.
As the Stars
Smashville's
move on.
out?
They're out. The Dallas Stars are moving on to the second round. They had a beautiful goal in the overtime by Klingberg. The only disappointing thing of this entire game is Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott were in the crowd looking like total losers. So keep that in mind. Next time Dallas Stars want to go out and win, don't invite those jerks.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
Is Klingberg like a different race of a Klingon?
I don't know. You should ask him. We also had last night, as Hockey Talk continues, controversial goalie interference erases the tying goal by Alex Ovechkin in the third period, ultimately forcing a Game 7 as the Canes defeat the Capitals last night, and now we will see a Game 7 in this series. And that was
you're
Hockey
saying
Talk
there was a
goalie
goalie interference?
Yeah, they said that Ovechkin knocked the goalie's pads, and that's why the puck went in. I think it's bull honky. I watched this over again. The announcers were saying, like, oh my gosh, it's a goal. Why are they discussing this? It was clearly a goal. That should have been a goal. That was definitely a goal. And the refs overturned it. Bunch of jerks.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you saying that the bunch of jerks rubbed off on the refs and made them a bunch of jerks?
They're all a bunch of jerks. And when I'm talking about a bunch of jerks, I have one last story that I have to bring up, and it's a good story. And this is how we like to finish our day. We on a positive note.
Yes.
Russell Wilson, he gives his offensive line Amazon stock, and he writes a heartfelt letter expressing his gratitude to all 13 of the offensive linemen that are on the roster for the Seattle Seahawks. And he says, you sacrifice, I should have done this with bongos, you sacrifice your physical and mental well-being to protect me, which in turn allows me to provide and care for my family. This does not go unnoticed, and it is never forgotten. And he gave them all stock in Amazon. And he went on to say afterwards that he wants to invest into them like they've invested into him. So he's given them something that can help them out in their future with their family. So this stock is meant to be an investment into the offensive linemen for their future to help them out. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool deal. Now, it's estimated the cost of the stock was $12,000. So he bought 12,000 shares of stock for each of the 13 linemen that he provided that to. So it ends up being a pretty good chunk.
Was it 12,000 shares or was it $12,000 worth of shares?
$12,000 worth of shares.
Okay.
That would have been a big difference. 12,000 shares in Amazon. I don't know what it's priced at today, but that sounds like it would be a lot of money.
Yeah. So $12,000 worth of shares. I mean, it's still a good gift, and it's better than just giving him $12,000 cash. But I feel like he could have given a little bit more. I feel like he could have $100,000. With how much money he makes, $12,000 just seems like a drop in the bucket. I mean, again, it's a good gift. It's a thoughtful gift. It's one that will most likely grow and change into something bigger. But I like a 5% growth on $100,000 worth of stock than a 5% growth on $12,000 worth of stock is all I'm saying.
So overall, his investment was $156,000 because it was $12,000 for each lineman.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, so then that's a little bit better because now he paid $156,000 for I thought it was $12,000 for the entire line.
No, for each guy.
Okay,
got $12,000.
so then that's a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, it's cool that he's doing that, and it just shows that he's a great leader. And I'm going to be a great leader right now in Chris America and tell you the show is over.
Sad day.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Until you brought up the Jeremy Beard thing. Man, you do that one more time, I'm telling you. I kicked you off of the station for a reason. That was me.
Jeremy Beard.
Skynet is watching. Skynet has a beard.
Peace.
Hey, what's up there, listeners? This is your friendly neighborhood Loudbeard, and I'm here to tell you that there's two type of people in the world, those that are on a podcast and those that want to be on a podcast. And if you are one of those out there that want to be on a podcast, one of the first decisions you will need to make is which podcast host you want to use. That's right. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you need to check out Podbean. Here at Scout Team Radio, we have been using Podbean since the very beginning, and we absolutely love it. They are easy to use, and they have affordable options. Just go to podbean.com/STR. That's right, Scout Team Radio. Podbean.com/STR to get started today. What are you waiting for?